When I first saw this video, at least the beginning of it, I thought one of our most enthusiastic and dedicated viewers, Larry in St. Louis, I thought Larry made a mistake. That would have been a first for Larry. Today, Colin, look at this video. It's all about the school district is investigating racial disparities in school discipline in St. Louis. So the story, well, you're going to see the video, how it starts off, and then you're going to see it take a really weird turn that I'm still dizzy just thinking about it. See if you could pick up that turn.
Exchanging blows at school like this one come out all the time, but there's now another troubling aspect. Some parents and advocates say the discipline for school fights is different depending on what the child looks like. News 4's Lauren Traeger is investigating claims of discrimination in school discipline.
They keep fighting the same kid over and over for what?
Stacy Washington says she can barely stand to watch this video, surveillance video from inside Hazelwood North Middle School. A girl in an orange jacket seen here standing in the far corner when seemingly out of nowhere she attacks Stacy's daughter.
They made the picture no clearer. The video speaks for itself.
But Stacy says it was far from the first time her daughter has been bullied at school. News 4 has chosen to conceal her daughter's identity.
I was disgusted with the school district.
In a lawsuit filed against administrators for Hazelwood School District, Stacy's lawyers outline multiple times they say Stacy's daughter was attacked in August 2016, twice in October that year, and again in March of 2017, the fight captured on video. Each time, Stacy says she tried to get the school district to do something, pointing out posts the other girls made, like this video she says was titled Adventures in Fighting.
Do you think the school district should have done more to prevent these fights?
Absolutely.
But instead of getting at the root causes and figuring out who was really responsible, the school district, according to the lawsuit, simply suspended everyone involved in the fights, including Stacy's daughter.
Here, you're suspending my child. Why? Because she's defending herself. I mean, how could you possibly get an education when you're steady getting suspended from school?
She believes the punishment was unfair and feels it's because of her daughter's race.
They didn't care because it's black kids fighting black kids. Why would they care?
Stacy's beliefs, according to legal experts like Luz Maria Enriquez, may in fact be supported by startling statistics.
I think that her experience really resembles what the data is confirming and suggesting.
School discipline has historically come with disparities. National data from the Department of Education shows black boys are 3 times more likely to be suspended than white boys, often for the exact same offense. But new studies have recently broken the data down by gender. According to an ACLU study, black girls in Missouri are 6 times more likely to receive out-of-school suspensions compared to white girls.
It's really surprising to me that the target population seems to be girls of color.
Enriquez, a lawyer for Legal Services of Eastern Missouri, says school discipline can have lifelong consequences.
Study after study shows that children who are suspended or expelled are more likely to be suspended again. They are more likely to drop out of school. They're more likely to repeat a grade. And all of that is linked to involvement in the juvenile and eventually the criminal justice system.
Data, too, shows that black girls are the fastest growing segment of the juvenile justice system. In fact, Stacy's daughter was at first charged criminally for fighting, but the charges were later dropped.
I wasn't going to allow my daughter to attend Hazelwood Central. At that point, the middle school failed my child.
The school district told us they could not speak to pending litigation, but sent a statement saying in part, quote, "Please know that we take all student behavior incidents seriously and look at each one individually to determine the appropriate actions, punitive, corrective, and restorative."
If you're not involved, they're pretty much going to punish your kid until they're kicked out.
Stacy says her daughter is bubbly and social around her peers, but was reserved around us. She's had to get counseling, her mom says, in addition to being treated for concussions. She says she wanted to speak out to see changes in how schools dole out their discipline.
Our tax dollars are paying them for what?
Recent studies suggest that a big part of the problem is that black girls are often perceived as more adult-like than their peers and are disciplined more harshly as a result. Enriquez says the Federal Department of Education recommends using suspensions as a last resort, but she says in her experience, Missouri districts still adopt a more zero-tolerance approach to school fights, suspending all of those who are involved instead. Certainly a troubling issue, one we'll keep following.
So here's the environment in St. Louis. Every day now in St. Louis, they're doing the story of the kids out carjacking, robbing, stealing, looting stores, rampaging through the Del Mar Loop, robbing college students. Listen, St. Louis is one hot chocolate mess, and a lot of people who still live there still haven't totally gotten their minds around it. And the people who do live there, who do know about it, have made a deal with themselves that they are going to be in denial, deceit, and delusion about it, just so they can live in this great house in this very dangerous city. So now we come to the same people we see on the videos every night that are ruining St. Louis. Now all of a sudden they become the victims of racial disparity in school discipline because for some reason black students and white students in St. Louis and in Missouri are suspended at a much different rate. Wow. Black students and white students, well, here are the choices. One, black students and white students behave differently in class. Or two, the white teachers are picking on black students for no reason whatsoever. Well, let me tell you something, Channel 4 News investigators. If the school district is guilty of racial disparity on a small level, you guys are guilty of capital punishment level racial disparity for all the reporting that you do of black criminality in St. Louis. Oh, you don't call it that, but we see the pictures, we check the mugshots, the victims tell us what's going on. And so then we have the same choice when talking about your news coverage. One, you are picking on black people and ignoring this enormous amount of black criminality, or you're just following the stories where they go, which is black criminality in St. Louis is wildly out of proportion, so much so to the point where they have ruined this city, that once great American city, probably for good. So what is it, Channel 4? Are you the villains for doing stories telling the people in your audience what the hell's going on in St. Louis, even in the very limited fashion that you're doing it? Or are you 1,000 times worse than the school district for covering up white criminality, focusing on black criminality, focusing on this enormous disparity between black people and white people that you are perpetuating because everybody knows it's not true? So which one is it? St. Louis News 4 investigates. Good Lord, where do they get these goofy investigative reporters? Do you guys watch your own news channel? No, I wouldn't advise it, because watching Channel 4 News, watching any news in St. Louis, well, that's pretty much guaranteed to make the black kids angry.